What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another match preview as the Premier League returns. Tottenham go to Selhurst Park on Sunday, 2:15 kickoff. Roy Hodgson against Jose Mourinho. Tottenham against Crystal Palace. Looking at Crystal Palace, how do you assess they've been this season?
Look, I think they've had a quite inconsistent season so far. They currently sit 11th in the table. They've had a lot of kind of up and down form. Last week beating West Brom 5-1, beating United 3-1 earlier in the season. But then
everyone went to Old Trafford and won this season.
But then they have results like losing at home to Newcastle 2-0, losing away at Burnley 1-0. Drawing losing away at Chelsea 4-0. So it's been a very up and down season for them. What you're going to get with Palace is they're going to be hard to break down. It's going to be, especially at Selhurst Park, they're going to be difficult to play against. And when Zaha's on form, they're always a massive threat on the counter attack. Especially now with Eze as well added to that. They've added a bit of speed to their attack and a bit of craft. So they're going to have to be wary of that. And I can see us putting a very similar. I can see Jose making a plan in place to kind of snuff out those threats because he's done that in our past few away games. But if we keep it tight at the back like we have done, we should have enough quality to breach their back line.
Do you think it's just a case of keeping Zaha quiet and then that kind of nullifies the majority of their threats?
I would have said that. A couple of years ago,
or last season
even last season. But I think this season they have a few more threats.
I know they got Eze, who's a great player. I really rate him. But still, the majority of their attacking player, everything they do good attacking does come through Zaha.
Of course it does. Yeah, he's their main threat. And if you stop him, you go a long way to stopping Zaha, and that's always the case. But they do have other players who we have to keep quiet. You know, Townsend's not had a bad season as well this season so far. Yeah,
he always tries to turn it on against Spurs as well.
They got Benteke, who might be on a high after scoring a brace in his against West Brom, his first couple goals in a long time. Obviously, Michy Batshuayi is a striker who can always turn up with a goal. John Ayew had a good season last season, although he hasn't been great this season. So they got a few threats up front, but I just feel like their defensive options are lacking at the moment, and although they're always very well coached and very well organised at the back, individually I think we can win individual battles there.
Yeah, I certainly think that's right. In terms of the way they're going to set up, do you see them kind of just sitting back and looking for opportunities to break, or do you see them kind of sort of having a go being the home side?
No, I think they're going to try and nick a draw out of this. I think. But you saw when they went away to United, they probably didn't go there thinking they're going to win, but they ended up taking the win they ended up taking all 3 points, and they deserved it that day. They were much better than Man United, so you've got to be wary of them. And Zaha is a special player, in my opinion, really special player. He didn't have the best of it last season. Yeah. But he started the season really strongly. He looks like he's back to his best. And when he's back to his best, it's very difficult to leave him isolated, and which is the mistake United made when they were played at home. They were so focused on just trying to get the goals and forcing everyone up, which is what you would want from your team when you're home to Crystal Palace. But what they didn't account for was leaving Zaha so free on the counter-attack, and he just destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them.
Jose's going to come with a plan for Zaha. You know that.
For sure. That's what he does, Jose. He makes a plan. Which is one of the criticisms people has of him, but he definitely focuses on the strengths of the opposition and nullifying them, and also their weaknesses as well, and exploiting those, and I'm sure he will. But we have to nullify Zaha. He was on fire again against West Brom last week, and he really has for the majority of the season been on fire. What was it now? It's 9 appearances, 7 goals, 2 assists. Look, this guy's one of the top performing forwards in the league at the moment, and the way he is as well, his dribbling ability is one of the best in the league, and if you get him in positions where he can finish, he can be lethal. He really can. He's improved his finishing a lot. So he's one you just got to really watch out for.
They got another player in Christian Benteke who hadn't scored for God knows how many games or how many years, but he came back last game against West Brom, got 2 goals. Is he someone to worry about? Because an on-form Christian Benteke is a very, very good player.
He is, because he's physical and he's a big, tall striker. And
if they're planning to get balls in the box, big target man up there.
I'm pretty sure if you asked Eric Dyer and Toby Alderweireld, who I'm sure are going to play on Sunday, if you ask them who do I play against, Benteke, Ayew or Batshuayi, they'll probably say not Benteke.
Yeah.
They'll probably even though Benteke, everyone laughs at him because he's been on bad form, and you probably can make a compilation of all his funny misses and everything.
Yeah.
The guy is still a big unit, and he's still physical, and I've read from Palace fans that even though he hasn't been playing well the past 2 years in terms of his finishing ability, he's still there. He's still a nuisance, and he's still causing trouble inside the box, and he's still someone to be wary of. So, especially with 2 goals last week, that'll probably give him confidence going into this game. So he's definitely someone who I'd be worrying about, and I would want to cut out those crosses from the fullback positions because I wouldn't want to be relying on us getting spare change out of Benteke from crosses.
When you look at Spurs and the way we've set up, you say you think we're going to play a similar way to the way we played against West Brom or Brighton.
Yeah.
Where do you see us getting joy against the Palace defence?
Yeah, fullback positions. I think Van Aanholt has as good as he is going forward. I don't think he's that great going back the other way. Nathaniel Klein is not the right back he used to be, unfortunately. After a series of bad injuries, have left him kind of. He's not terrible, but he's just not at the level he used to be when he's at Southampton and how he got that move to Liverpool. So I think definitely the wings, which is where we like to exploit, is definitely going to be space there. Down the centre, I know they like to be compact, but I think if Lo Celso could have some joy down the centre as well, because they haven't really been starting Milahojlovic this season. It's been mainly MacArthur been starting. I know Koyate's been playing centre-back for them as well a lot of this season. So he's not, in terms of his positioning, he might be someone we can exploit as well. I think there are definitely some areas to exploit for this Palace team, but we need to be able to ensure we keep Zaha out and we keep it tight at the back, and I'm sure again, I can see it being like another 1-0, 2-0 victory. It's going to be a tight game. It's not going to be one of those free throw games. It's going to be a very tough victory to overcome, and it might even be one we have to be patient, like we were against West Brom.
I think so. The majority of games we play against Crystal Palace, that is usually the case. I mean, there was a stint where we went 5 1-0s in a row, and majority of those were late 1-0s as well. I remember Christian Eriksen, 85th minute. There's been a few of them where we had to wait until kind of 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go to break the deadlock. And I think this could be a similar case. But when you're looking at the players that we've got and the tools that we can hurt them, we've got so many tools that we can hurt them with. And you expect Palace to come and play a low block. Do you expect anyone else other than Bergwijn to start on that right-hand side? Because I think Gareth Bale could be a good game for Bale to play in. I
would say not Bale because of Eze and Zaha back there. He would want a winger who's going to be really good at tracking back. That's what I feel.
So it has to be Bergwijn then,
I think it has to be Bergwijn, or you could play Bergwijn on the left and so on the right. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But I think Bale is on the bench on this one. I think against West Brom, where you're not so worried about their wingers as much, that's where Bale came in and that's where he started, because he would get more joy going the other way and doesn't have to track back as much. But in these games, I think Palace are more of a threat. You have to respect their threats, and I think Zaha and Eze, who've played quite well recently, you just have to respect what they can offer. And although it'll be under Poch, we wouldn't be worried about that necessarily. We'll just be like, we're going to play our game, you do your worst, and we'll probably still come out with a victory. And it worked for us a lot of the time. I think under Jose, he likes to kind of make sure, He likes to, double check everything, as he used to say with Jose.
Triple check with
Jose. Triple check, exactly. He wants to make sure these guys aren't going to get anything, and if you nullify these guys, we have the quality up front to get to nick something and to get a goal and then take the 3 points. And that's all he's concerned about, is getting those 3 points. And for him, he probably sees the best way to get 3 points is shout out Eze and Zaha, and then find something, whatever you can going the other way.
Like we always say, do you think if we get an early goal on the weekend, it could open the floodgates? Or do you reckon it'll be a bit more of a pragmatic approach? Even if we do get that early goal, we'll be still a bit more pragmatic and kind of seal the victory instead of go for the jugular.
I think I can see Palace coming in with a very pragmatic approach. And if we get that early goal, hopefully it'll disturb that, and hopefully it might mean they come out a bit more, especially in the second half. So an early goal always helps, especially the way Jose likes to play. If you get an early goal, it gives you something to hang on to.
That's the game plan, isn't it?
Yeah,
you get the early goal, finish the game in the first half, hold it out for the second half.
That's what he did there. He's done that so much throughout his career, getting that early goal and then shutting up shop and getting on the counters and hoping the other team leave themselves exposed, which a lot of the time they do. So obviously the early goal in every game we play is so crucial. But I'm pretty sure even if we don't get it, we'll still keep it tight. We'll keep the same similar approach, and just hope we get something that we have been doing going forward. And I'm confident we can do that. And I'm confident we can get the win. I'm hoping we get a few goals, but knowing how Jose likes to play, it's not that likely.
It's funny because in some sort of strange way, I feel a bit more confident about going to Anfield than actually playing this game, because I think that we're more suited to playing teams that are actually going to come at us and we can, hold strong and hit them on the counter-attack.
Yeah, we know for sure Liverpool are leaving space. We don't know for sure Palace are going to.
Exactly, so it's very... This game's a bit of a risk, because it's not a risk, but it's very likely that we could actually end up drawing this game.
Yeah, that's what people say. People are saying, you look games against City and Chelsea and Arsenal, this game plan is always going to be fruitful because there's less pressure on us to get points. So even doesn't really matter how we play, as long as we're getting points in this game, fans are going to be happy. But with games against Palace and West Brom and these people, where they're going to sit back and they're going to defend against us, and a point is better for them than for us. When the onus is on us to come forward and break teams down and score, that's where we're going to see whether this team can consistently get the results in these games and break teams down and consistently get the wins. And we'll see on Sunday if we can do that. I'm hoping it's more of a performance like against Newcastle and against West Ham, even though we didn't get the result we wanted. The performance in those games were a lot better on the eye.
More Newcastle than West Ham, I think.
Yeah, well, definitely Newcastle. I thought the performance in that game was a lot better than the game against, say, like West Brom and against like Burnley, where we struggled to create. I'm hoping it's more against that, but I think my head tells me it is going to be more similar to the Burnley game.
You know what? Even under Pochettino, we didn't have those sort of wins against Palace. It was always very tight. They're a very hard team to play against.
It's true, but against Palace in those games, we used to nullify them by keeping possession. But I don't think that's why we're going to nullify Palace in this game. But look, I think I can definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if we come away with like a 2-0 win. I still can see that getting a goal in the first half, then wrapping up in the second, and just make sure we're shutting out Zaha. But it will be interesting to see what will happen if we do go 1-0 down, how we react, because we haven't done that too many times this season. I think only United, was probably the only game, and United and Southampton are the only games we've conceded the first goal. And to be fair, we've reacted well in both those times, but United and Southampton are always teams that are going to come onto us. So even if they're winning, they're going to come onto us.
If Palace get a goal first,
exactly.
if Palace get the first goal, they are literally going to sit 2 banks of 4 in their penalty area, and that's it.
And one thing I would say about Jose, which has gone under the radar a bit, is when we have had to kind of get a goal or we have had to attack, I think we've been pretty good at it most of the time. The frustration has been usually holding on to a lead and giving it away, not really when we have to turn it around and not being able to, because we have so far. When we've had to attack, we've attacked. Yeah. And what people were saying, defensive football and not going forward. But when we have been doing that, we've usually been leading. You know what I mean? We usually haven't had the onus hasn't been on us to attack.
Whenever we've played that defensive football, it's kind of more like kind of holding on to the lead instead of trying to get back into the game.
Yeah. So when we have had to attack, I think we've done well. And we have attacked. So if we
haven't seen it that often in the past month.
We haven't been down so often. We've only been losing for a few minutes against Southampton because Ndombele equalised pretty quick. Son equalised pretty quickly. A couple minutes against United because Ndombele equalised quickly in that one. Apart from that, Everton for the last half an hour. So those 3 games we've been conceding. Apart from that, we haven't been trailing in any other game. So that's why I think we've just been keeping it tight, making sure we get the 3 points. And you know what? It's working at the moment, so I can't really complain. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0.
Who's going to get the goal?
Son and Kane both assisting each other. It's easy to predict at this point.
I think this is going to be a much harder game than it was against Arsenal. Yeah. I really do think that. I'm going to go for 1-0 Spurs. I think that, the classic Spurs at Selhurst Park, I think it could potentially come late as well. I think it's going to be a very frustrating game.
It will be, but the great thing about it being, at the moment, as a Spurs fan, being top of the league, is kind of like every game is kind of like It's like kind of like a really important like cup final, like not cup final, but like you got to treat it like that because every game you're top of the league, every game you win, you're staying in that
everyone wants
position.
to beat you so badly because you're top of the
Exactly.
league.
Everyone's waiting for us to slip up, waiting for us to lose. So every win is just massive, and it keeps you going, keeps that momentum going, keeps the good feeling going. So look, I'm going to be watching this game with full energy, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to every Premier League game at the moment because as long as we're at the top in that position, you just can't wait for each game to come and get those 3 points. Each 3 points is bigger than the last. So I can't wait for it.
All right, so there you have it. That is our match preview. My brother's going 2-0. I'm going 1-0. We have not conceded a Premier League goal since Brighton. And since West Ham, we've only conceded that one Premier League goal. So defence is looking good. I think we can nick it by the odd goal on the weekend. It's going to be a tough game. There's no two ways about it. Crystal Palace and Roy Hodgson, they know how to set up a team, and they do it to perfection sometimes.
Yeah, 1 goal in 6 games we've conceded.
Yeah, so that's great work for Jose and Ledley King on the defensive side of things. But look, that is our match preview. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the game. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs!